All right, fair and balanced. Before the break, we discussed Donald Trump's economic plan, and now it's Clinton's turn. We reached out to Ms. Clinton's campaign asking for the top bullet points of her plan, and they are exclusively sent to Cashin, by the way. Number one, make the boldest investment in good-paying jobs since World War II. Make debt-free college available to all Americans. Rewrite rules to ensure that workers share in the profits they help create. Ensure those at the top pay their fair share. Match our policies to how families live, learn, and work in the 21st century economy. Now, Jules, looks like a ton of new spending, but what do you think of Hillary's plan?
Well, it is a ton of new spending, but she offsets it by talking about how she's going to pay for it, which is a lot more than I would say for Trump's plan. And so in that sense, it's more responsible, whether you like it or not. Look, I know you're not going to agree with it. But
well, I'm laughing because the pay for is tax people more.
Nevertheless, it's not a pie-in-the-sky proposal like we're going to have magical economic growth, which all economists understand is not realistic. As I said, you may not like it, and you will probably end up paying a lot more, but that's because you're a successful businessman.
Well, so will the middle class, right? Well, let me bring Morgan in. Morgan, someone's got to pay for these plans. Free college tuition, fair share. You heard that fair share line. That was so most people put in more into the tax revenue base.
You know, after reading Hillary Clinton's plan, Eric, I have a confession. I've decided not to be conservative anymore because I'm going to get everything for free. So I have a student loan bill for my MBA, and so I think that I could stop paying my student loan bill and buy a pair of Louboutins every month.
We won't give
you a mortgage. I mean, all I have to do is quit paying my mortgage, and then there's, you know, relief for you if you can't afford your house anymore. So I think I'm going to get off the mantra of being personally and fiscally and nationally responsible for our budget because everything's going to be free, and I hope I get a pony too.
Maybe a pony. What about you, Mercedes? Do you like? Are there any parts of Hillary's plan that you do like?
That's a different story. Well, I have to say, I think that there's always that big concern with bigger government, and that federal government will be the solution to the problems for these American workers. And so it doesn't really stir economic growth, and that is the bigger question. And I think when you're adding additional taxes to both the business side and the individual side, I don't see where that encourages economic investment in America. The other part of the plan also, based on one of the analysis, it basically said that it would reduce the GDP by 1%. So it actually reduced the size of the American economy. Those are the red flags, I think, with the Hillary Clinton plan. You know, I wish I could say, I mean, it would be great to have college paid for and debt-free, but we have to be realistic as well. That is a costly proposal, and it's going to mean higher taxes.
I actually agree with you on that. I think the free college tuition is unrealistic, and frankly, I think it's counterproductive because I think all it does is raise the cost of college for those people who are too wealthy to be able to get free college tuition under this plan, and I think I don't support that proposal at all. I do like her, you know, the rules that ensure not that workers share in their profits, which I like as well, but the part of this that I like is that the economy adjusts to the way people live. And I'll use, again, this paid family leave where Trump only limits that to the mother who's physically given birth, not to her husband or not to her partner. And in this case, look,
believe me, I've had 5 kids, Julie, and the last thing I need is for Matt Schlapp to be home, okay?
No, Mercedes, my idea is for Matt.
You know, after giving birth, you can ask Matt. 2 days later, after giving birth, he was back in the office because we know being realistic here, providing for the family and ensuring that someone is out there working while I was able to be at home with my child. And
well,
you know,
Mercedes, you know what I would have thought?
Well.
I was actually suggesting that maybe Matt Schlapp stay home with the kids, and you're the one that goes back to work.
That's a good idea.
And that's something that Trump wouldn't support.
We all love Matt, and Matt, hi, I'm sure you're watching. But let's get back to the taxes here for a second. John F. Kennedy and Ronald Reagan, Julie, are both actively and aggressively dropped individual tax rates, and we saw massive economic expansion in the aftermath of that. Hillary Clinton has no such thing. She's going the opposite direction.
But what were tax rates under Reagan? Something like the top was 70%. I mean, you can't compare.
It was 90 under JFK.
Yeah,
he dropped
exactly.
Reagan brought him down from 70.
And they were right
but
to do that.
The point is, lower taxes created economic stimulus.
And then I can't speak to Kennedy because he died too soon. But then Reagan, as you recall, instituted many tax increases after that because he understood that it was insupportable to have done what he originally did. So let's be clear about the history that transpired after Reagan did that. Reagan was not shy about raising taxes multiple times because he lived in a realistic world where you actually have to be and the budget deficit.
Reagan
was
dropped
huge.
corporate rates, not increased corporate rates.
What was the deficit like under Reagan? It was awful, and every conservative who now screams about the deficit has to remember that they have to be fair about what it was like in the 80s when Reagan was president. It was massive.
Whoa. Whoa. For 240 years, America accumulated $10 trillion in debt. In the last 7.5 years, America accumulated another $10 trillion under President Obama, and he raised individual tax rates.
If you're going to say that, then at least acknowledge that Ronald Reagan was not pure in this issue either. That's all I'm saying.
He was. Yes, the debt did increase under Reagan. That's true.
Deficit,
right, Morgan?
Right.
No, I was just going to say that there's absolutely no way to increase taxes to pay for the spending that she's promoted. We have a massive entitlement problem in this country that, frankly, neither candidate are addressing. And free college and everything she's proposed in this plan, it doesn't matter how much you tax the rich. We cannot afford to pay for that. So it's intellectually dishonest to think that raising taxes is going to cover all the new spending, plus, however, our entitlements are blooming out of control.
I got to do this. Throw up the full screen very quickly. It's who Americans trust, and look at that number. New Fox News poll. 51% versus 44%, and that is who would do a better job on the economy. I'm going to leave it right there. Coming up, he's 70, but he says he feels like he's 35 years old, and she faints and says, nothing to see here. Everyone focusing on health of the presidential candidates. Should they come clean and be completely transparent? Coming up.